I'm here with Jeanine Koehler in her therapy stall. Janine's been around for as long as I've been around.
It'll be 25 years, the Super Stakes, doing therapy.
With
cutting horses, riding.
Yes. Who did you get your start with?
I worked for a couple people that weren't in the mainstream, but my first big trainer that I worked for was Tom Lyons. And I went from there to Bill Riddle. And then I went from there to when Ferris Ranch sold, I went to Brett Davis, and I was there for over 4 years, and he was the first person to let me start working horses. And then I did a few other things, and then I went back to Bill Riddle's 10 years after I'd been there. And from Bill's one that got me started in therapy. And I left there right before the Super Stakes in 98.
Yeah, wow. You've
Crazy.
been, yes. I remember it was 2002. I don't even know if you remember Dad's horse, Boomcat.
Yes, Black Horse.
Yes. So, well, that was his mother.
Oh,
so that was
Boomer.
Yes.
Boomer.
So that was even before that. But my first memory is when Game Ready, and you started with him, and I showed him at the Derby in the youth, and he had pulled a suspensory, and you kept him sound enough. I made the finals, and you worked on him every day. I want to say you even worked on him twice a day. Yeah. But yes, we made the finals, and that was my first time that I met you. And then, yes, you've just been a staple around the cuttings for as long as I can remember, and you're probably one of the main reasons that everyone's horses keep running and keep going, because you're the go-to before there's an issue, and that's what we were just discussing, was that you're the hands-on one. All the owners, the trainers, the lopers, and everything, like, they have a pretty good idea, but you're the one that gets to head things off before they turn into an issue. So thank you for talking to me today and getting to show me, because you've got somebody pretty special here that everyone would know, because you do all the work for Austin and have for many years, and this is Bama Jelly. And if you don't mind just explaining what you're doing for him today, and you've worked on him since this deal.
Since he was fall of his 3-year-old year. He's always been one of my favorites. He's always been extremely sound, which is a good thing, because some people think you only do therapy when you've got an issue, but just like you said, we're trying to head it off before it happens. And sometimes they change, you can get them looked at right before the show, but after one run, after one hard lope, they can change on you, and the only way they have to tell you that is by their behavior, performance. And so what we're doing is trying to get ahead of problems, but also this horse technically doesn't have any problems. He's an athlete. He's got to be a little sore somewhere, but he doesn't display that, and he doesn't work like he is. But just by loosening everything up and creating healthy circulation, we're going to enhance what he does out there and hopefully prevent an injury from happening, because a horse that feels better uses himself better, and accidents a lot of times happen when a bad move is made, and unexpected. They had to turn harder from a disadvantaged place, and that tweaks something, and then they have to keep working on it, and then it gets worse. And so, like I say, the trainers can tell when they're feeling right. If a good horse has 2 bad days, he's not being a dickhead.
Right. Yep.
He is trying to tell you something's bothering him. And then, so I converse with them, but I check them out. Most of the time, I don't even have a lot of conversation with the trainers, because they know they're probably not going to hear from me unless there's something wrong, and they need to get additional help.
Yes.
And so, I can do so much, and then you say, okay, we've got to have a vet intervene on this, because it needs to be done, or a problem's going to get worse. So I evaluate their body the best I know how. I do some trigger point therapy. When I'm done with that, I throw this beamer equipment on, which I love, because it's extremely effective, but it's also user-friendly. I use the TheraPlay. The horses seem to like it as a whole. I've got LED lights underneath there that also really relax muscles, and then I just get to hang out with good horses for 20 minutes, half half hour.
Yes.
And
Athletes.
yes.
And legends.
Yes, and this is one of the best ones. And he's happily going, this feels good now.
Yes, he's relaxed, obviously. He just, I don't know if you could hear that, but he took a deep breath. So tell me what the Beamer rug does. What is it particularly?
Its main, everything we use as a whole is to increase circulation.
Yes.
Blood flow, because that heals everything and it makes things healthier than they would be otherwise. And that's all this does, but it kind of works from the inside out. It doesn't matter where it's touching because it goes beneath the skin to the blood vessels and moves them in a way I have not seen done before. And so it's not up on his neck, but it doesn't matter. His neck's getting treated anyway.
Right.
It's, he's a littler horse, so it's actually back here further, but some of the other horses, it's not covering their hamstrings, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
They're still getting treated anyway.
Right.
And the blanket will do the whole horse. It will do to their ears, to their tail,
Wow.
to their feet. We put the cuffs on. They're meant technically for problem spots, kind of shotgun a problem spot. And I put them on all four legs because we're at a show. And what if they're needed?
Yes.
We only know what we know. And so if they're showing, they're going to have them on all four legs, even if that horse has no issues. And that's not the necessity of it. In my opinion, the blanket treats the whole horse. Those are just a little added benefit.
Right.
And then the TheraPlate also treats the whole horse.
Yes.
I stand on it and I feel good when I get off.
Yes.
So.
Yes. TheraPlate, I know more about, obviously, because the Beamer didn't come out until after we left, which was just 5 years ago.
Yep.
But prior to that, you used Therascopes. Is that correct?
Yes, I use Therascope, and that to increase circulation in one of the better ways I had seen. I prefer a product that does no harm. There's a few products out there that maybe you're going to get a result, but your horse is uncomfortable during the process.
Right.
There's so many good products that you don't have to make your horse uncomfortable, so I prefer them because you can't tell a horse why you're making them feel bad. And so I choose stuff. And so the Therascope, general circulation to the whole body too. We just had a lot of gel and wires. And I can say I started using this Super States of 18. I think this company's been around for going on 30 years. They just have future products. And they just built the equine line maybe the end of 17, and I got mine in 18. And when I went into the futurity of 18, I would have rather slit my wrist than hook another wire up to a 3-year-old that had never been treated.
Yeah.
So the benefit of it was a great tool, and I used it for 18 years, but I didn't know what the relief would be to no longer have to hook wires
Yes.
to scared 3-year-olds.
Yes.
And so, and I just found, I'd always said I don't promote a product, I try to promote a result. And I always said if something worked better, I'd own it.
Yep.
And I test drove everything that came across the market, from P3s, MagnaWave, lasers, and everything has a benefit, because anything that increases circulation has a benefit. I found this to do it best.
Yes.
And that's why I chose it. And from I knew in a half hour that this was superior to what I've been doing for 18 years. I made myself wait like 48 hours before I bought them. But I knew immediately.
Yep. Right.
And I haven't looked back on it.
Yep. Well, I think that's the thing that I probably miss most about being around here is just the technology and the advances. And see, you get to work hand in hand with the horse trainers,
Yep.
so they get to tell you what's working and what's not working. And then you can go back and say, you can communicate very well. And so you do know it works.
Every time I have changed modalities, I have a few of my go-to guys that I say, okay, I'm doing something different. I want to know if you feel something
Yes.
different. I want to know if we regress any, because I only have the experience I have,
Yep.
or I want to know, and I watch it too. Like say, obviously some of the guys I definitely anything they say goes. But especially when they're showing, I don't get to watch them as much practice, but when they're showing, webcast is fabulous for that. I want to see them go because they can cut a back cow, they can, all different things, and their score doesn't reflect their performance. And so I want to see what they look like moving, because if there's certain things I can see that I go, oh, maybe I need to look a little deeper in this specific area, because if there was a problem in that area, that would cause that behavior. And that's the interesting thing. When I was first learning this, I was still riding, and I was working for Bill Riddle, and he was the best about this. Because I was riding them, he would let me stop and evaluate any horse in the middle of a work. And I could, if I was riding it myself, I could say, oh, they feel this way, pull the saddle, palpate them. Here's a little tweak here. I treat it, they don't feel that way anymore. I didn't change the bridle. I didn't pull on them harder. I didn't tie them up and bring them back later. I did something to their body, and that issue resolved. Because horses are honest creatures. And so, Bill Riddle was working a really nice 4-year-old mare once, and I told him, I said, well, she looks really good, but she's a little bit stiff on your right. And he says, well, she's running from a cow a little bit on that side, so I'm using my off leg to hold her up. And I went, why is she running from a cow on that side? He stopped and saddled her. I checked her, treated a few points, threw the saddle back on, and she was dead even. And I was like, she was trying to tell us something was bothering her. And that's the only way they have to do that.
Some people just seem to forget that they cannot communicate. And so, and they are such willing creatures, and especially now as the breeding advances and all that stuff, and they get smarter, that too many people just forget that they cannot speak. So somebody has to have an idea. And here is completely different because everyone has an idea. There's so much hands-on.
There's so much talent.
And talent too. And the money involved in this, you just can't not, make it work. And like you said, you've been working on him since he was 3. So it starts at the beginning. This isn't just something you do like he's in the world finals and he's hauled all year, and we don't just decide.
And bred.
And bred.
The dummy is hard on them.
Yes.
The dummy, that's an abnormal angle. And that
absolutely.
Is hard on the stifles.
Very much so.
And especially when they only do it occasionally.
Yes.
And so you can go breed with them, and then they come back and start cutting and they're sore.
Yes.
And you're thinking, well, I hadn't even been working.
Yes.
And it was something else. And bouncing down the road in trailers is hard on them.
Yep.
I don't care how nice your trailer is. But that's the thing with them, I believe, is they can only tell you what they can tell you, and it's usually through behavior. And I've worked on a few horses for different disciplines, but where I believe cutting is unique. Everybody wants their horse to feel good and perform well. Your reiners do, your stock horse guys do, your jumpers do. Mm-hmm. But all those people still have a hold of reins.
Yes.
And so a good jockey can handle a horse through some issues that pain is causing them. And they might not look as soft, but they'll still be dynamic and they'll still win. But a cutting horse, you got to put your hand down. And so you can no longer shape them for something that is hurting them. And that's when they tell you that there's something wrong.
Absolutely.
So that's why I think it's a necessity in our industry if you want to be at the top. Yeah. Because soft and pretty is what wins.
Yes, absolutely. Accuracy, and they can't be accurate if they're sore and not thinking about what they're doing.
Yeah, if they're stressed.
Yes. Now, I just think that a lot of people just don't realize that they are just full-blown athletes. Like you were saying before, if they, get hung in the ground a little bit, these guys aren't going to give up. They're not just going to quit. They will do whatever it takes to fix it. And sometimes that is, at the expense of their body. So,
see, like he's going to show this late afternoon in the final round of the World Finals, and I'm doing him before he works, but before he works in the practice pen. But that's also the thing is, if there's something in the background bothering them, and you go work them, and it doesn't go smoothly, and you get bad works on them, and you get frustrated with them. That's the work that they're now going into the show pen on.
Yes.
And the mental aspect
Yes.
On horses in general, but cutting horses, you don't want them to have a bad experience before they go show.
No.
Because they remember, everybody does, they remember the bad
absolutely.
things so much more than the good things.
Absolutely.
And they also have a cellular memory that if it hurt when they did it once, they have to do it a few times and it not hurt for them to erase the memory that it hurt. And that's why, like, even when we palpate them and check them, and we find sore spots and we treat them and we know it's gone away, we still go back there and repalpate them and show them that it doesn't hurt anymore, because it's amazing they even want me around them. But when I palpate one, they've got a sore spot, I'm hurting them when I do it. And so then you have to go back and say, look,
it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt now, because the last thing you just remember is it hurt. If you don't go back there and show them it doesn't hurt anymore.
Yep.
And so,
absolutely. Well, I think that explains everything. Thank you for talking to me today. We've never done this, but I just wanted to show everyone a bit of the behind the scenes, and I've been a bit busy. I haven't been able to do this, so you're the first person I got to speak to. So,
awesome.
And I'm really excited that we had Bama Jelly. That's pretty impressive, especially since, you know, he marked that was 28 yesterday. Yep. So, everyone gets to see that this is the pregame. This is the pregame before the practice. This is the practice before, you know, the World Finals. And
I call it more sports therapy than anything.
Yes.
Because, like I say, yes, you take care of injured horses at home and stuff, but we usually do this gearing into an event and through an event.
Yep.
It's preventative, it's enhancing, and it also, like say, you find something wrong, and if you didn't find it till after the run, it could be too late. There's no do-overs.
No, there's not. And so, like we said before, you don't have a name and you don't have a phone number, because everyone that knows you, and the rest will find out. So,
appreciate that.
But yep, no, you've been around and you've been a legend, and thank you for talking to me
and
today.
Also you, me knowing you since you were much smaller, the bit of time I started spending with you when you were overseeing horses, their care was always at the top of what you did, and that isn't to be said about everybody. Not everybody.
Thank you.
Well, not everybody's paying attention. I was having a conversation with Ryan Rapp the other day, and he's been training his own horses and doing really good. And he said, you know, with as much talent as out there and as many good horses and stuff, he said maybe the way that you get the edge is to pay more attention to the details.
That is not wrong.
Yeah.
That is not wrong, because there is a lot of really, really good horses around, and it's always been that way.
Yep.
And you know, you would know that because you get to work with the top people. But even like you just said, Ryan, you know, Ryan's a legend. Ryan grew up in it.
Yeah.
And you know, and Emma too. Like, the whole family is just full of talent. But that is absolutely correct, because there are so many horses and so many people and so many horse trainers that are very successful. It's just about your attention to detail and how you take care of your horses.
Well, I was down in the barn Thanksgiving night. We're talking about your son.
We're talking about Ryan.
Yeah. Thanksgiving evening, I had gone to the barn to treat some of Rapp's horses, and I was just starting to finish up, and Ryan came in, and he said, I'm just coming down to talk to my horses. He said, you know, someone was talking to me and made me realize that sometimes we're just always on the go, and all we do is go grab the horse and saddle it up and ride it and work it, and we don't take any quality time with him. So he just came down to the barn Thanksgiving evening to look his horses in the eye and pet him on the forehead and talk to them. He will go a long ways.
Oh, yes, he will.
He's so talented, but
yes.
The mindset.
Yes, absolutely. I fully agree with you. And man, when we left, Ryan was he's still just young.
Yeah.
And to see him now, and it's cool. So, but anyway, we're about 20 minutes. We'll wrap this up so you can finish what you're doing. But thank you again, Jeanine. I really appreciate it.
Well, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.